What's up, guys? How is everyone doing? Hope you're having a good day. Today, I want to go ahead and do my own review of Fallout 4. So, before we hop into that, first of all, if you have not seen my video of my Fallout 4 funny moments, I did a stream on Twitch from my PS4. I went ahead and just took a couple clips that I thought were kind of funny that happened to me within the game, and I just combined it into like a little montage. So if you have not seen that, please do go ahead and check that out. So getting into this review, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you all my opinion, how I felt about the game, some things I liked, some things I didn't like, and whether or not it's worth a buy of full price. So this was my first Fallout game. I'm new to the series, so I really didn't know what to expect hopping into the game. So the story, it takes place in the future. It kind of has this old school feel, 1940s, 1950s type of air, but still takes place in the future. So what happens is a lot of wars going on, nuclear weapons, the whole deal, that threat of nuclear bombing and stuff like that. So there's a nuclear fallout. You take your wife and your son down into this bunker. It's supposed to be safe. So you get into these pods that freeze you, and it kind of freezes you in time in a way. You awake to find that your wife and your son are actually being confronted by these random dudes. You've never seen them before. And in the end, they end up shooting your wife and kidnapping your son. Your infant son, he's no more than a year old. So you go back to sleep. They put you back into your sleep, and you wake up again to go ahead and escape your pod. And you find out that the bunker is completely deserted. There's no life there except for some mutated giant roach creatures. And you work your way through the bunker. You get out, you escape, and you see that the world is pretty much completely destroyed. So you go meet up with Codsworth, who is your robot companion that lived with you all. And he pretty much tells you that, hey, it's been 200 years or over 200 years since the initial nuclear blast. So, yeah, you're kind of late, buddy. So you're on a mission to go ahead and find your son, see what happened to him, see who took him, for what reasons, and that's pretty much the game. So it's an RPG game, so you go ahead and create your character. You got stats. As you level up, you go ahead and put your points into certain stats. There's a system. It's how many you think? I can't think of the number right off the bat. But pretty much there are different traits. It spells out special. So you got your strength, perspective, endurance, charisma. God, I can't spell today. Intelligence, agility, and luck. I hope I got that right. But yeah, so you got these traits, these perks, whatever you want to call them. And every time you level up, you get to go ahead and insert a point into one of these traits. Now, once you level up these traits, you can also get different perks under these traits. So depending on what level you are, say if you have 4 points in perspective, you can actually go and get one of the 4 perks in the perspective tree. So you're not going to be able to access level 10 until you put 10 points in perspective. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So as you level up your different traits, you unlock different perks that you can put in that specific trait tree, if you want to call it like that. So basic leveling system. You go throughout the world and you encounter different people, different factions, good and bad. Encounter different creatures that have been affected by the radiation of the nuclear fallout and stuff like that. So different mutated insects and bugs and animals, and they have these feral ghouls, which are almost zombie like. They used to be people, but the radiation ate at their brains, so they're no longer human. As well as creatures that you don't even know where the hell they come from. The radiation pretty much just gave birth to all kinds of different creatures in this world. And along with that, you go and you also build settlements. So different settlers that come in and looking for a place to stay, you can go ahead and build homes for them, get some food, water, places to sleep. power, stuff like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into that a little bit later. But for now, that's pretty much the main point of the game, is to go ahead and find your son. You're exploring this big open world, and it's a lot for you to do, which leads me into things that I like about the game. A lot of content. You can never get bored. Like, as soon as I put this game in, I did not play anything else until I beat the main story. So with that being said, it's a great story in my opinion. It's a lot of content, like I said, and you know, it just you never get bored. It's always something new. You come across a new area and you're like, oh damn, I didn't know this was over here. You come across different items and stuff, and you know, like I said, you just never get bored with the game. Now, some things that I didn't like. Now, if you watched my last video, if you haven't, please go ahead and check it out. There were a lot of glitches. So, first of all, I know I myself haven't experienced this glitch. A lot of people have been talking about this one particular glitch when you're creating your character and your character doesn't have a face. So myself, I have not experienced that, luckily, but I did experience some other bugs. There were times when some enemies didn't spawn correctly. They'll be stuck in the ground. I had an instance where I pulled out a gun and it wasn't there, so I was shooting with an invisible gun, and other things which I didn't get a chance to catch on camera. But you know, some NPCs, they were just freaking walking around like in the ground or just bouncing around everywhere, random objects bouncing, and you know, it was kind of like goofy glitches. Wasn't a big deal, nothing was game breaking, but you know, they could have polished up on it a little bit better. And besides that, the whole perk system, now myself, like I said, I did say this is my first Fallout game. So maybe this is me not really knowing how their system works, but I recently discovered that there's a perk that you can get in order to see your enemy's level. Now, most games, this is kind of by default. You can tell what level your enemies are, but in this game, you can't tell unless you unlock this particular perk. And I did not know that. So I literally went through this entire game without unlocking that perk. Now, maybe that's my own fault for not going and reading up and seeing what all these perks do. But remember, there are a lot of these. So we got 7 traits and 10 perks for each of those, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's 70 different perks you can get. And I didn't want to read through all of those. You know, call me lazy, but you know, that's a lot. So, you know, maybe, I guess I felt like they could have did some sort of system. Maybe they could recommend certain perks, because, you know, knowing the level of your enemy, I feel like that's kind of like a basic need when you're playing, especially an RPG. You're going through an open world, and if you don't know the level of these monsters, I mean, God dang, you could get fucked up, seriously. So, you know, I felt like that was something that could have been, you know, implemented, you know, getting the basic perks or recommended perks, or even just having that in the game already. But like I said, I'm new to the series, so maybe it's always been like that. So, you know, that's just my own personal opinion. And going into the whole settlement thing, I didn't really understand it that much. You know, you go ahead and you find a group of settlers, you call this place home, you go ahead and build it up, make it a nice place for people to live. Now, it doesn't really explain into detail how do you do that, besides it did have one mission where it's like, okay, get some food, get some water, and get some beds. You know, simple. But what else do you do beyond that? You know, you got to get your defenses to defend. What kind of defenses? You know, how do you assign people to do certain tasks? Do they go ahead and go in and run a shop, or do they go ahead and defend this area, go at this watch post, or farm food? You know, they didn't really explain that unless I missed it. You know, like I said, this is my first Fallout. But besides that, overall, I did really enjoy this game. Now, do I recommend you buying this at full price? Absolutely. But I say no to people who do not play RPGs. Now, I say this because I was at work this whole week trying to explain to everyone, like my coworkers that are gamers, I'm trying to explain to them why I thought this game was so great. Now, I am open to all different types of games. Now, some people do not play RPGs, and they may see it as silly. It's like, why do you run around doing this and you gotta level up and doing all this stuff? And, you know, that may just not be a person's type of game. So if this is your first RPG and you normally don't play RPGs, maybe you should wait for a price drop, because you may be overwhelmed with all the content, or you may not understand the whole system or what you got to do, or you may just simply not have fun with this type of game. But someone that does enjoy RPGs and that enjoys the whole exploring the world and discovering new things and crafting different armors and weapons and upgrading things like that, and whatever, that's your game. Go ahead and buy it full price. You will not be disappointed. I was able to clock in about 35 hours on this game before I completed the main story, and there is still a ton of content that I have yet to even access yet. So I can go ahead and see myself playing this game for a little bit longer, and it was worth the $60 buy. So I recommend this game. I highly recommend this game, and hopefully this review helps someone. Like I said, this is just my own personal opinion, but like I said, I like the game, so hopefully I'll be able to influence someone to maybe make a decision whether or not they want to purchase this game, and hopefully y'all can have fun with it. So that is it for now, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.